Good morning, everyone. All right, so we're out here at our shed project, and we're gonna get started. I hope everyone's doing great. I hope you're having a great week. So this morning I put up our last wall. I installed a window opening, as you can see. I installed our header, and beneath our header are our jack studs, which are supporting our header. Here's our king stud that's sandwiching our header in from side to side. And we have our double sill. And then we have our cripple studs, which go beneath the sill and support it. So now we're installing our double top plate. I put up 2 pieces already for our double top plate. And before I put our last piece in, I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So as you can see, this is our first top plate of our first wall. So that intersects with this wall right around the corner. And now the purpose of our double top plate is to connect the two. So it's almost like a woven corner. It's going to pull the two together. That way, maybe if this were to ever move, maybe the nails might pull apart. But by this holding that in, it's gonna tie it in nice and tight. So we're going to nail that. And as we nail it, if this piece is a little, tweaked, we're gonna nail it here. We're gonna start from one end. And then as we go, we can use the opposite end of our piece, like a lever, to straighten it. So if it has to go left or right, we'll just push it accordingly. And we're gonna nail every 16 inches into each of the studs. Sound good? Perfect. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check our top plates for square. By rights, they should be square, but you never know, things could have moved. So I'm going to check everything for square. Then I'm going to adjust it accordingly. And my diagonal braces that are on the outside of my wall, I installed them there so I could stand up my end wall. I'm going to move those to the inside, so it's going to allow us to install our tongue and groove siding. And then once we do that, we're gonna snap some lines and get started installing our siding. All right, so we just squared our top plates and the top of our walls, and they came in at 151 1/4 for our diagonal measurements on each diagonal. So that means if each one is the same, that our walls are square. So we're ready to start doing siding. So before I did that, I just placed a diagonal brace under our top plates to keep anything from bracking or moving, and I braced off the inside walls too. We also remember we installed our wind bracing, or some people will call it lead-in bracing, on the wall the other day to keep it from racking. So we should be good to go. So what we're gonna do first is snap a couple of lines. So we already have siding that we are going to be matching up to. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure down and measure my bottom piece as to where it starts, and I'll take the same number and I'll measure it on the opposite side. In theory, this will be perfectly level because my walls are perfectly, my floor is built perfectly level, and so are my walls. So I know they're good, so I can, rather than having to pull out the level, I can just take the chalk line out and snap some lines. So let's get started. All right, so we started installing our siding. I set my lines. I started installing my first few pieces, and I just want to show you the theory behind this being installed. So this wood is called tongue and groove, which you've learned about. It's a type of joint. So right here is our tongue, and this is our groove. Each piece interlocks. Well, the groove overlaps our tongue on each piece. Now, sometimes this could be installed with toenails, so there aren't any face nails in this. I just want to make a point that we are face nailing ours because the existing shed is, and it's also going to help create a rigid structure for our building. So carrying on, when we install it, I install it so my tongue goes up and then our groove goes over that. This way, if any water were to run down here, it's gonna shed right off. If this was the other way around, water might catch in that groove and sit and rot it out, and we don't want that. So like I said before, we're gonna think like a raindrop, right? Perfect. Now, one more thing. We are installing these with ring nails, galvanized ring nails. Remember, if we're using anything outside, we want them to be galvanized or stainless steel. In this case, we're using galvanized. So we're using ring nails, which, if you can see, they have that little, it's kind of like a textured rib on it. What that does is helps from the nail backing out. So some nails would just be called a common nail or a smooth common nail. The body of the nails on those, the shaft, is smooth. So if we were to do this on the outside, you know, it'd be less likely you'd get nail heads popping out, or more likely get nail heads popping out. So the ring nails help those nails from backing out. All right, so our first wall is all set. So what I did on our seam piece was where we tied in our old to our new siding was I just put a vertical piece of trim to break it up. If we were to install this new and we weren't if we built a brand new shed without the addition, we would have ran that straight through. So we were just avoiding having to remove all the old siding. Also, if you noticed, our old tongue and groove pine is a little bit lower. We started our pieces out level, but our new material is about 1/8 of an inch wider. So over the course of time, over the course of the wall, it just grew and it ends up being a little higher. So that's all. So take care.